Yeah, I'd say it's a bit chilly out here today. Thursday, March 7th, 2019, the memorial of Saints Perpetua and Felicity. You know, the day after a big day like Ash Wednesday or a regular Sunday, whew, you had such activity, and now it's just, let's relax a bit. Whew. So on the day after Ash Wednesday, which was a day of fast and abstinence, you truly appreciate what the word break fast means. Breakfast. Yeah, so this room where I took the cross from yesterday, I just want to make sure that I got the mess all cleaned up. You know, every parish probably has a room similar to this where they just dump everything. Everything and anything just sits in the room. As hard as I try to keep it organized, once you turn it over to the people of God, their system of organization gets imposed upon it. Of course, before I break the fast this morning, I'm going to say Holy Mass. I'm going to keep you in my intentions this morning because I know that so many of us in our Lenten journeys could use extra prayers and graces. Okay, finished saying Mass, and it is now time to break the fast. Get ready to have a nice, tasty breakfast here. Alrighty then, so begins a new day. I am now settling in at my desk, getting ready to get a few things done. You know, it's interesting, I love Lent. You know, there are always options and there are different things that you could do. But one of the things that is not compatible with the faith is saying the words, I believe, but not having Christianity as the core of your life. Yeah, to say the words, I believe, means that the faith is not just something that's added to my life, it is my life. You know, I try to keep my eye on the lens, but every time, like I'm glancing over, I see this little thing up in the ceiling over here. And it kind of bugs me. Even when I edit it, there's like these water stains in the tile there. I think I got to do something about that. That just looks kind of like yuck. Perfect size, perfect size. It's going to go right up there. The only problem with dealing with these ceiling tiles is that they get you all dusty, and I forgot wearing black, and it just, I'll be right back. Yeah, that's more like it. That's what we want. See, it just takes a little bit of ingenuity. All right, let me give away my secret now, but don't tell anybody else. This is just between you and me. All I did was move it there. Okay, so back to where I was. We have to talk about faith. I believe. You know, I said in the first episode, I talked about I am a sinner, and I had debated for a while which title I wanted to use for this. I believe or I am a sinner. I will admit, part of my motivation, part of what's behind all of this, there are so many public figures who say the words, I believe, they say they are Catholic, they're Christian, and yet their lives are not bearing witness to that truth. Now, I want to be clear, I am not making any political commentary here. I am not looking to condemn any politicians. In fact, I could even make similar claims about the bishops. So what I'm trying to do here in this vlog is to emphasize to anybody who hears my voice, I am challenged by these people who can make such claims and then just ignore the faith. I'm not saying anything about them personally because what I've done is I've internalized their statement. Catholicism is my private life, but I have to do something different in my public life. I had an interesting conversation with a brother priest who was basically against the monthly confession thing. But I believe it's that kind of attitude that gets us into trouble. See, I'm more of the mind, I'm going to go to confession when I need to go to confession at a bare minimum once a month. It's what Our Lady recommended for us to do anyhow. I also believe at times, too, there are priests who just really don't like being priests or whatever. You know, I don't mind hearing confession. If people are coming, I'll sit in the confessional for hours if I have to. So anyhow, what came to my mind as I was talking with that priest is Psalm 51. There's a line that it sticks in my head all the time. For I know my transgressions, my sin is always before me. Against you, you alone have I sinned. I have done what is evil in your sight. You see, there's a genre of priests out there. They bought into the secular lie that you shouldn't dwell on the negative, but only emphasize the positive. I can agree that we need to at times emphasize the positive. I think we need to say what's being done right and what people are doing well. But I'm not of the mind of ignoring the sin. My sin is always before me. That line says to me that I need to be constantly reflecting upon sin, upon the sins and the weaknesses I know that I have, weaknesses that I know if I'm not aware, I will succumb. See, that's the key right there. Keeping my sin before me, knowing my weaknesses, examining my conscience every night the way I do, keeps that sin before me, and so that I know my weaknesses and my faults, and where I know the devil's going to come after me if I'm not keeping it in my sight. I will admit that probably some of the most important metanoia moments that I've had, those conversion moments that I've had, is when I do come to a realization of a fault. I come to the realization of sins committed. I recognize the damage and the hurt that's done by them, and then I do something about it. You know, I listen to EWTN radio in the morning. I love to hear Catholic radio in the morning. Here, we're going to give this a try for you. Alexa, play EWTN radio. Well, if you had an Alexa in the room, you're going to hear EWTN now. So anyhow, on the show that I was listening to, they're talking about the deadly sins. And the particular sin that they were talking about was anger. Anger is something that turns into wrath. Anger is something that turns into hurt. Anger is what we see all around us today going on in our society, in our politics. Anger doesn't heal or solve anything. Well, I can recognize that there are times when I have to be strong in my conviction, when I have to stand up for the truth, when I have to be somewhat harsh in my words to push somebody. That anger has to be kept in check. The anger that we may experience at times, a valid, normal reaction to an injustice we see, to a hurt that was committed, when we see those things, we're going to react. The key when it comes to talking about my sin being before me is that reaction is kept in check. It's under control and focused in the way of the Lord. See, when the psalmist says, "Cleanse me of my sin, purge it from me so that it doesn't dominate me." And the only way that that purge can remain complete is when I keep that sin before me. Have mercy on me, O God, for I am a sinner. And so now all of this is a way back around to the meditations that I've come away with when I think about these people who say, I believe, but don't really live the faith. If I believe, then I recognize my brokenness is a problem. If I believe, I take Christ for my own. And once I have a relationship with Christ, there's no negotiating on what it means to live a virtuous, holy life. To believe in Jesus Christ, to love Jesus Christ, demands that I make it internal. I'm sure you realize that one of the most profound images of Christ and the church is that of the marriage bond. The marriage of Christ and the church, the marriage of Christ to each of us in our baptism. That means that over time, as our relationship grows, there's going to become a similarity. The difference here, of course, is the immutable God is not going to change towards me. I am created in His image and likeness. It is I who will grow in likeness to Him. I'd just like to give a shout out to Adam and Eve. Thank you for corrupting our nature and making this living the image and likeness of God that much harder. Jesus is the human face of God. He's the one that when we relate to Him, we can see in Him His desire for us to grow, to become what we were created to be.
Hello.
Good morning again, Cynthia. This time you have no
Father
ashes
Peter.
on your head.
Oh yeah, Father, I have no ashes.
Oh, I owe you money, Gail, for my Rainbow Club.
We have a monthly raffle here called the Rainbow Club. And Gail has been so good about doing this. How many years now, Gail? 37 years she's been running this raffle.
Father, can you mix it this time? It's savage.
I thought they were both crescent crest. For some reason, I was
Can I
thinking.
get the pen?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm wearing a different shirt
God for that.
and a new necklace from Ireland. Isn't it lovely? No.
Hi, Gloria. Good morning, Saranja. How are you?
Good morning, I'm fine, thank you.
You're
Nice
here to
to
help
see
us,
you.
right? You do good things for us?
Oh, yes, every Thursday I'm here to help the community. Yes, I'm helping you.
With a Bible?
So today is...
Thursday.
You retired people are right on top of this stuff.
Keeps the brain stimulated.
How long have you been in this parish, Vivian?
About 32 years
Ish.
ish.